Yeah, obviously, just coming off workouts here today. It was great to be out, on the field again and get a workout on the field we'll be playing on this weekend. So just looking forward to a huge challenge. Obviously, we're in a bracket with the number one team in the country, and obviously another nationally ranked team in Nebraska and NJIT. The four teams won conference championships. So huge challenge for us, but we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting out there tomorrow and competing and playing in a venue like we're at here in Arkansas. So just looking forward to the weekend right now.
Go ahead, Hutch.
Yeah, Coach, have you announced your starting pitcher for tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going to go with Sebastian Keene.
I know you've got Cam. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. That's been really good for you. Is that just a matter? I know he pitched in the Sunday's game. Is that kind of what went in that decision?
Yeah, it really is. Like, Sebastian's pitched great for us all year, and but he has the most rest. We ended up using Cam twice, Schlittler Thursday, game one of the tournament, and then the last game of the tournament for a couple innings, and then we used Kyle Murphy a couple times as well. So just feel like from a health standpoint and making the right decision, Kyle and Cam need an extra day's rest, and Seb's had the most rest. So it's really that's really this decision. That it's just who has the most rest, and then I don't want to sort of limp into the game or just go with our number one because he's our number one. It just the last weekend took a lot out of us, and we've had to recover these last few days. So I just think it makes the most sense to give Cam an extra day.
And then also, would Cam be available for Saturday? And then also, could you maybe give us a little scouting report on Sebastian, what kind of pitcher he is and what we should expect to see from him?
Sure. Yes. Cam's slated to go on Saturday, so he'll be ready to go there. And then Sebastian, when he's on, he's low to mid 90s. He can get it up to 94, 95, but probably pitches 90 to 93 typically with a really good slider. Has a good changeup as well, curveball. So he's a 4-pitch guy, and they all have different shapes. He works fast. He's got a quick arm. He's explosive. He does it a little bit differently. Cam's a bigger 6'5" guy, where Seb's still 6'1", 6'2", but it's just more explosive and quicker. So when he's on, he's around the zone with all his pitches. When he's a little bit off, he's rushed out of his delivery and he sort of tugs it to his glove side. So that's what we'll keep an eye on for him. But obviously we're hoping that he's pounding the zone with his 4 pitches and works fast, controls the running game, and has the ability to pitch deep into a game.
Chris.
Hey, Coach, what do you see when you look at Nebraska on film? What jumps out to you?
Everything, really. And I'm not just saying that because we're playing them, but it's true. They just seem to be, the word we kept using as a staff is just seem to be so balanced. They seem to be able to do everything really well. They're physical on offense. They have speed. They have a bunch of guys with home runs and rely on a lot of guys offensively, can score a lot of different ways, and on the mound, they obviously have some studs and we're going to see one here, game one, and, great back end of the bullpen as well. So I think we just see a tremendous balance and again, conference champions, and been there and done that. So we know it's going to be a huge challenge, but I think, it's not necessarily like we're not worried about one guy beating us. They just have too many guys, really. So we're just going to have to, to try to attack everybody and force them to, all beat us, really.
What was going through that conference tournament like for you guys as far as, preparation for this week and having to do it the way you did and the comeback and everything? How'd that kind of set you guys up for this weekend? Yeah,
I hope we're going to learn from that, right? So that's, we needed to get over that hump from our program's perspective. We need to beat Wilmington. They've been the class of the conference, and we've been sort of knocking on the door, and to be able to go down to their field and beat them on that field was huge. I think, especially the way that, the games went, I don't know how familiar you were with them, but they were pretty wild the last 2 games. Particularly the last game, I think I lost a couple of years of my life, but it was just back and forth and just a lot of runs scored and everything you could imagine in a game. And it was a great crowd and great atmosphere, and Wilmington does a tremendous job. So we know this is obviously an even bigger stage, for us. So hopefully we can use that experience from playing tight ball games under pressure on the road in front of a lot of fans and now do it on a bigger stage. And hopefully, what I don't want to see is our guys sped up out there and getting caught up in the moment. I want us to be able to be comfortable out there and play our game, which, as you mentioned, I hope is going to be because of what we learned last weekend.
Evan? Yeah, Coach, kind of following up on that. I mean, what's been the challenge this week coming off such an emotional, long tournament like that? What's the challenge in kind of resetting physically, mentally for the challenge this weekend?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about that since Monday afternoon. You know, once we completed the selection show and found out where we were going in the regional and everything, it was all, you know, no practice, no workouts or anything on Monday, just talking about getting our sleep, nutrition, hydration, get all of our rest, get our minds right, start thinking about, you know, this next challenge, get our bodies right. Had a really light workout on Tuesday back home and you know, a light lift and just get all your treatment and rehab and really start that process of healing from the weekend mentally and physically and starting to move on. And then, you know, yesterday I thought we just flipped the switch, you know, and kind of, you know, had a much more aggressive practice and work hard there and get a lift in before we traveled here yesterday and got here at a good time yesterday. So again, same thing, like sleep, eat, nutrition, hydration, all those things are really, really important. And then, you know, have a great practice today, which we did, and then get a lift this afternoon, a light lift. And then we have the night game tomorrow, I think was big for us just to try to, again, get a little more rest and prepare before we get out there tomorrow night.
I wanted to ask you too, real quick, about what is it that makes you guys such a prolific base stealing team? What goes into that? What's the philosophy? And then when you're talking about recovering physically, how important is that in being able to play the game the way you want?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with recruiting, I guess, or what type of player we're looking for. We're looking for athletes on the offensive side, guys that can run. I love speed, the exact opposite of what I was as a player. So I couldn't run. I was slow as molasses. So I think I want players that are not like me, and they tend to really be, you know, fast and they can do a lot of things. So when you have team speed, you get two opportunities, right? You get it on the offensive side and the defensive side. And I feel like our defense has been outstanding all year long. We cover a lot of ground in the outfield, in the infield. We played really well. And then from the offensive side, there's a lot of different, we do have great stolen base numbers. And I think we're prepared for every game, and the teams that don't hold runners well and do a good job with it, those are the ones we really, you know, you see our big stolen base numbers in some games. But then there are other teams that hold runners really well. And so what we do there is we just try to then put pressure on the defense. They know we can run. You know, if the ball's on the ground, they can't bobble or make a mistake. They know there's a chance we're going to beat it out. There's a great chance we can go first to third. We force teams to pick over a lot and sort of distract the pitcher. So it's always the game within the game as well. So the stolen base numbers are big, obviously, that number, but we anticipated being, you know, a much greater challenge stealing this weekend. So if that's the case, then we'll try to use our speed in a different way.
Ian?
Yeah, Mike, so many of your guys had to make big plays under pressure last weekend over those last few elimination games. What does that do for your guys coming into this event now, just thus affirming that kind of self-belief?
Yeah, thanks, Ian. You know, it helps. You know, we had a feeling that we were in a great situation there from about 3/4 of the way of the season in, right? So there wasn't exactly that pressure on our team for getting into our conference tournament. And so we tried to create our own pressure within the team. And, you know, we talked about our winning streak a lot. You know, we had that winning streak going on, and we sort of embraced it. And I think we tried to create some internal pressure with that and force the guys to learn how to play under pressure for those moments. And then obviously in the tournament, when you have those types of games there, really the last 3 games, the Charleston game gets overlooked a little bit, but we had to win that game or we were done. So there was pressure those last 3 games, and the guys performed incredibly well, offensively, defensively, on the mound, and we had to use a lot of guys to do it. So I think they know, you know, what we're in for this weekend, or at least we have an idea. You don't really know, I guess, until you're out there lined up against the other team. But we certainly have to be able to use those games as, you know, an experience to be able to handle that this weekend.
Bob, did you have any questions?
I'm good, thanks.
All right, last call for questions for Coach Glavine. All right, Coach, appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, thank you.